safe streets, vibrant neighborhoods, successful business and commerce. These are things that make a healthy community. We are a diverse community, rural, suburban, urban, a multitude of languages and ethnicities, ages and experiences. We are a collaborative community. Public-private partnerships make us a model community that others want to follow. It is what makes us unique. It is what makes us strong. The employees of Kent County reflect our diversity and seek to serve our communities.
People in this county, in this area, we wrap our arms around each other. We come together to collaborate, to solve problems. We're all working for the good of the whole. And I think that's wonderful. And you can see it. You can see it as you drive around Kent County.
Our impact starts the day a baby is born and a birth certificate is issued, to protecting children from deadly diseases through vaccination, to the public safety and justice provided by law enforcement and the courts, to offering veterans services and caring for the elderly. Every day we work to keep our communities robust.
I think if you are somebody who's interested in serving your community, in building a strong knowledge base and a good group of people to work with, then the county is one of your best employment opportunities out there. It's been completely rewarding in every way I could possibly explain for 26 years, and I feel like I grow every single day still today.
Leading these dedicated employees, our 19-member Board of Commissioners and our County Administrator Controller, along with our elected officials and appointed department directors, placing emphasis on civic involvement, quality housing, vibrant neighborhoods, and strong, solid infrastructure to allow businesses to thrive. Professional, dedicated, collaborative, and innovative.
Behind the scenes, collaboration between foundations, charitable organizations, nonprofits, for-profit businesses, public sector demonstrated through the county, the city of Grand Rapids, the townships, all the cities and the villages in our area. If we don't come together, then we will not have the strength that we have today, and I only hope to build upon that.
Our aim is to make our communities the best they can be. We are involved in exciting development projects, sustainable recycling programs, and creative progressive prevention programming. We partner with elected officials, impacting policy ideas that become great achievements. We seek opportunities to reach out into the community and offer our services to help our residents make Kent County thrive.
Our relationship is solid, both from a staff standpoint at the county level as well as the Board of Commissioners. And they understand what we do and the benefits that we can do for the community, and vice versa. We couldn't do what we do without the help of Kent County.
While most of us are busy running our lives, Kent County's elected officials, administrator controller, and over 1,600 employees are serving the communities where we live our lives, so we can all have a place we are proud to call home. Kent County, its life well run.
Good morning. It is my pleasure to welcome everyone to the Finance and Physical Resources Committee meeting. Thank you for your patience while we manage a weather delay. As one meteorologist said, don't think of it as March 5th, think of it as February 34th. So it seems to make it feel a whole lot better. So we're going to run with that. I'm going to open up public comment. Is there any public that would like to address the Finance and Physical Resources Committee meeting this morning? Okay, seeing none, I will close public comment. That will bring us to the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved. Support.
Okay, moved and supported. Moved from Commissioner Voorhees and supported from Commissioner Breivy. Anything have to be pulled? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion passes. That brings us to item number 3, Kent County Veteran Services. Wayman?
Yes, this is a request to the board to accept and appropriate the 2019 County Veterans Services Fund grant in the amount of $162,000 and add one Veteran Services representative, and authorize the board chair or designee to execute the grant agreement and approve grant extensions and changes within 15% of the original award. The Kent County Veteran Services are requesting the addition of one full-time Veteran Services representative as a result of receiving the 2019 CVSF grant from the Michigan Department of Military and Veterans Affairs in the amount of $162,000. The additional staff member is needed based on the current growth and demand for services. The funding will support the additional VSR position and internal support of $82,000, along with additional outreach activities for $79,000. The cost of the new position, $82,000, will be entirely funded by the 2018 CVSF grant. The grant period is October 1, 2018 through September 30th, 2019. If grant funding is eliminated or decreased, the position will be eliminated unless continuation funding is approved pursuant to the fiscal policy on grants, donations, and contracts. This item was recommended for approval by the Legislative and Human Resources Committee at its February 26, 2019 meeting.
Thank you, Wayman. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
And support?
Support.
Okay, moved and supported. Questions, comments, and discussion? Yes, Commissioner Voorhees.
Thank you, Chair Jones. I guess my concern is just that we realize we've added 70 or 87, I think, maybe new full-time employees to the payroll, and that we just keep an eye on that. That's a every month, every year go along, and I know we're in good times right now, but I just raised that concern. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Yes, Commissioner Antor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was just curious, that position, do we look for veterans for that position, or is that open to anyone, or do we actively seek a veteran to fill?
It's open to anyone. However, I'm sure there's a good reason to support veterans if they're capable, qualified, and able. Most of the staff are veterans at the location today.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Bukowski.
Thank you, Chair. A couple quick questions on the timing of this. Is there a high likelihood that the grant dollars will be able to move forward in the next fiscal year, as my assumption is this position has not been filled, and by the time we fill it, the year's half done. The grant year.
There's very good likelihood that funding will be available into the next fiscal year according to staff.
Say that there's very high.
There's very high probability that there will be additional funding to extend the position beyond.
Right, well, that I assumed, because our motion says what it normally says. If
Right.
grant funding ends, the position ends. However, we're going to have 6 months at best to spend 12 months worth of funding. So I don't know that part of it. And so maybe that's too far in the weeds for us. The second is, what are we going to do for $80,000 for outreach? Which I didn't have a chance to look at our budget, but that sounds like the outreach budget for the entire county, not just one program. And we have a similar outreach number coming up in the prosecutor's request.
What they do is they reach out to the news media, and they have done this in the past where they've worked with TV 13, 17, others, TV 8, and have done these promos. I'm sure that part of that expense will be used for that. There are other materials that they've used. They've even contracted with the Rapid before and put signage on the buses.
Right.
So when you total it all up, it could get spent pretty easily.
All right, thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. The motion passes. That brings us to item number 4 from the Parks. Wayman?
Yes, this is a request to approve submission of grant application to the Michigan Natural Resources Trust Fund to acquire approximately 71 acres of property to expand Chief Hazy Cloud Park and to commit the funding to the funding of the required local match if awarded. The Parks Department has been engaged in a long-term project to transform Chief Hazy Cloud Park into a regional park featuring extensive river access, trails, natural areas, and recreational opportunities. Once acquisitions currently in progress are complete, this park in Ada Township will encompass 323 acres with 3.1 miles of frontage on the Grand River. The park is in the area where development pressures are strong and population is growing. In 2017, the department submitted a grant request to the Michigan Department of Natural Resources to support the purchase of 4 parcels. Expected to be the the final phase of park expansion. Only half of the requested amount was awarded at that time, but the department was encouraged to submit a new request for the remaining funding in a future grant cycle. Acquiring the final 2 parcels would add approximately 71 acres and a half a mile of river frontage to the park for an additional estimated cost of $2.3 million. Acquiring this land is consistent with several objectives set forth in the department's Parks, Trails, and Natural Resources Master Plan. The Parks Department seeks approval to submit a grant request to the Michigan Natural Resource Trust Fund to fund 70% of the purchase price. The remaining 30% will be a local match from various sources. The final purchase price will be determined using the DNR appraisal process as required by the grant. An action request to accept the grant, appropriate grant and matching funds, and authorize the purchase will be brought back to the board if the grant is approved. It is anticipated that the county will be notified in December of 2019 if the application is successful. If awarded, funds would need to be expended within 2 years of the grant.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Questions, comments, and discussion? Yes, Commissioner Breve.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I just have a comment. I think this is just a great opportunity to get some very nice frontage. I know people in Kent County are looking at more river access all the time, and I think this is a great find for the property, and I look forward to hearing the news on the grant.
Commissioner Wooden?
Echoing the comments of my colleague, Commissioner Breve, I had a quick question about the planning process once the property's been acquired, for what kind of amenities will be offered, what kind of outreach will be done to develop this, this addition.
Why don't we have, let's see, Al Geno or Brian Mulligan, our landscape architect, I believe, he's here, from the Parks Department. He can answer those questions, hopefully.
Thank you. Once we acquire all the property, then we go through a master plan process to look at developing it. Some of these properties already have a conservation easement on it, which will restrict some of the frontage along the Grand River. So this goes through a design process after we get the land. So.
And when you go through the master plan process, what's the outreach to ensure that you're getting buy-in and ideas and?
It varies on the project. We can do a community, a public meeting, that kind of thing. We always do one for a grant when we go after a grant. Usually we don't get anyone coming to those, but we've worked with Ada Township, so we can get them involved. They're contributing some of the funds to help acquire this property, so we work with Ada Township too. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else? Commissioner Bukowski?
Thank you, Chair. I definitely agree this is a great opportunity that we should be taking advantage of. I'm just baffled by the $33,000 per acre on this, and I understand it's river frontage and there's only so much river frontage. At the same time, I bet that's flooded right now, at least a portion of it, and yeah, so it goes through just the standard process to say this is really worth $33,000 an acre. Yeah. That Commissioner Morgan would pay that much for it.
If I had your money, I would.
Okay. It's like half of what I pay for my house per acre. Anyways, and on a more serious note, have we had conversations with the Anishinaabe peoples of our area? I know Hazy Cloud is an anglicization of this chief's name, and just to make sure that,
right.
If there is just again, is this a good thing or a bad thing that we call it Hazy Cloud?
Right.
Because it's going to be called that forever, and if it's the time to change the name.
Good question.
So.
I'm not sure, and I don't know if you are either, Brian.
I don't have the answer to that. I know the park was renamed in the 1920s to honor him, so.
Again, I know it honors him. The issue is, does that Hazy, and
right, today.
And his statue's over by the Eberhard Center. So, Ambassador Secchia, that's part of the statue. So, and of course, I couldn't say his name if I had to right now. Just to have that conversation,
it might be
making
good
sure.
to do that, just to affirm that. We can check into that, David, and let you know what we find out. Okay.
Right, thank you much.
Commissioner Morgan?
Yeah, thanks, Madam Chair. Just picking up on Commissioner Bolkowski's, it goes through a regular appraisal process, correct?
Yes, it does.
And so it just settled out at 30,
I know,
location.
Yeah,
there's only so much river.
yeah.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. The motion passes. That brings us to item number 5 from the prosecutor. Wayman?
Yeah, this next request is a request to the Board of Commissioners to appropriate an additional $157,000 to the 2018-19 Crime Victims' Right Act grant budget in the Special Projects Fund from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services to add one victim's witness advocate and to authorize the board chair or designate to approve grant extensions and changes within 15% of the original grant award. The Michigan Department of Health and Human Services provides supplemental funding to counties to assist offices with implementing the requirements of the William Van Regenmoor Crime Victims' Right Act. The purpose of the grant is to provide victims with information regarding their rights, their changes in the name of the advocates in the Kent County Victims Witness Unit assigned to their case, along with information related to the victim's impact statement process and crime victim compensation information. The 2018-19 budget, as adopted by the Board of Commissioners, included $733,000 appropriation for this program. The Kent County Prosecutor's Office has since been notified by the CVRA grant that funding has been amended, increasing the total program budget to $891,000, requiring an additional $157,000. The Prosecutor's Office is requesting the addition of one additional full-time VWA for a total of $69,770 to assist with aligning services that protect victims' rights as well as continue the efficiency of notifying the victims of the case. The remaining $87,000 will be utilized to improve office workflow and updating outreach materials. If grant funding is eliminated or decreased, the position will be eliminated unless continuation funding is approved pursuant to the fiscal policy on grants, contracts, and donations. This item was recommended for approval by the Legislative and Human Resources Committee at its February 26, 2019 meeting.
Thank you, Wayman. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved and supported. Questions, comments, and discussion? Yes, Commissioner Bolkowski.
Yeah, I guess similar to the veterans position, you know, what is it, $90,000 for, how is it, or $87,000 to improve workflow and updating outreach materials. I mean, to say, first and foremost, unfortunately, my son was a witness to a crime, and this unit does fantastic work, and very proactive in the outreach and in all of that. So this work is absolutely critical, and it's great to increase.
Right.
At the same time, outreach, you know, I mean, and again, no disrespect, I mean, something on a bus wouldn't have had us call to think for that support. They called us, and again, we're extremely supportive in doing that outreach,
Right.
so I understand the position. I just, like, again, is this a requirement by the state grant that we have to use it for this as opposed to something
is.
better, or is it,
Yeah, it's specific to this work, so we can't use it for anything else.
okay?
Like any grant or any budget that's appropriated, staff are not going to spend money unless it's warranted. I mean, it's got to fit what the program and services are required. We estimate that this is what, how the dollars will be spent, and I'm sure the prosecutor's office will not spend any dollars that aren't warranted, so.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion passes. That brings us to item number 6 from our treasurer, Wayman.
Yes, this is a request of the board to approve a resolution authorizing the city of Grand Rapids to collect 2019 winter taxes under $100 with the 2019 summer taxes under the authority of Public Acts 184 and 185 of 2012. State law provides local tax collecting units the option of accelerating certain millages from the winter tax collection levy to the summer tax collection levy if the tax and other amounts billed total $100 or less. the City of Grand Rapids levies. Now, this is a correction. We found that this number needed to be 2.0144 mills as part of the winter property tax collection, and will have over $63,500 tax bills that, $63,500 tax bills that will be collected as part of the 2019 summer tax levy. In October 23, 18, the Grand Rapids City Commission, under authority of the referenced state law, authorizes acceleration of collection in July 2019 of the property tax amounts that will total $100 or less per individual tax bill, and that would otherwise be collected as part of the December 2019 tax levy. The accelerated tax collection will save the City of Grand Rapids the costs and expenses associated with preparing, mailing, and collecting certain 2019 winter tax bills. The City of Grand Rapids has requested that pursuant to state law, the Board of Commissioners approve a resolution authorizing collection in July of 2019 of the property tax amounts that will total $100 or less per individual tax bill, and that would otherwise be collected as part of the December 2019 levy. This request is for 1 year, as state law provides that all requests be made annually.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there support?
Support.
Moved and supported, and questions, comments, and discussion. Yes, Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I remember us dealing with $100 or less taxes for the city in the past. Is this relatively a new law that we're working under now? And I read in the memo that it's kind of a two-part question. We're moving some of our county, they're notifying some of our county millages will be going on the summer.
Yes.
Is that right, Ken?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe, as was stated, the law was passed in 2012. It's not a Grand Rapids only law, but in Kent County, it's a Grand Rapids only application. And that has to do with the fact that they can only do this if the only winter taxes on their winter bills are county special millages. Virtually everybody else in Kent County also has Kent District Library, as well as potentially other millages to move. So it doesn't make sense for anybody outside of the city of Grand Rapids. In recent years, they've been doing this in the odd numbered years, because in the even numbered years, we've had millage proposals on the fall ballot. Doesn't make sense for them to do this if we then go ahead and pass another millage in November and levy it in December. So since there's no expectation of a millage request going on the ballot this year, that's why they're asking for it again this year.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else?
I got time to put some of that on the ballot.
Okay, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion passes. That brings us to item number 7, also from the Department of the Treasurer's Office. Wayman.
Yes, this is a request for the board to establish the County Delinquent Tax Revolving Fund 2019 collection account, and to authorize the sale of general obligation time limited tax notes series 2019 in the amount not to exceed $22 million. The Board of Commissioners annually approves the establishment of a Kent County Delinquents Tax Revolving Fund collection account pursuant to the provisions of PA 206 of 1983. The county has annually issued tax notes to pay local governments and itself for delinquent real property taxes since 1973. Last year, the county issued $15.8 million in Series 2018 tax notes for the delinquent 2017 real tax property taxes. The note proceeds are utilized by the county treasurer to purchase the right to all delinquent 2018 real property taxes that are due to any governmental unit levying taxes. The county treasurer is able to access an administrative fee and interest to cover any costs associated with this activity.
So moved. Support.
Okay, there we go. There is a motion to approve. It's made and supported. And questions, comments, and discussion? We'll start with Commissioner Morgan.
All the above.
Okay.
So, again, this is a non-mandated service that we do for those municipalities when they say, "What have you done for me lately?" we go ahead and purchase these delinquent taxes from the municipalities, and then we do collection. And so I just wanted to point out that this isn't a mandated effort. This is something that you do, or the county does, to help out these municipalities, and we've been doing it since 1973. We don't lose money on this, correct?
No, we do not.
All right, so as far as issuing these bonds, we cover our costs for the issuance, the interest, and what do we do if we make any money?
You guys sweep it out.
Okay. I probably knew that, and so.
Through the budgeting process, Steve and I go through and work out what number is left after all of the notes are paid off for a particular year, and he includes that then in the budgeting process.
And your collection rate is somewhere around 99%?
Oh, yeah, ultimately it's 100% other than
Well, it's the
the
government.
bankruptcies that are hanging out there. But yes, it's excellent.
Thanks.
Okay, Commissioner Antor.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, Ken.
Good morning.
My question, I'm not sure if it fits in here or not, but I know there's some questions right now about some of the Spectrum Health facilities. Some of them have paid their 2018s, and they may be getting a refund in the future depending on the tax tribunal. How is that affecting you? Are you going to be looking at some of those people that are fighting that right now, and they're saying they're not collecting the tax? Spectrum's saying we don't owe it. So I was wondering if
we would have to accept those tax bills because there's no definitive answer at this point. If they, in the course of the process, Spectrum wins their argument, and so that they are not required to pay the tax, we would then bill back all of the taxing authorities for the amount that's been turned over to us. That, which would of course include the county general fund, all of the county special funds, the city or township that it's in, schools, et cetera. So we have the ability to make the revolving fund whole by billing back. If the local unit wins, of course, then it's incumbent upon Spectrum to pay or risk foreclosure.
is there any type of penalties or fees if the local unit doesn't respond in a certain amount of time to, would there be any chance of them saying, well, we're not going to pay?
I hold the ultimate hammer in the funds that we advance to them on a regular basis from a variety of sources, including the delinquent tax revolving fund. If they choose not to pay, we can withhold from other funds that we would have to pay them. So
Leverage there.
we'll get our money.
Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Bukowski.
Thank you, Chair. Ken, when do you purchase these bonds
We're actually selling the bonds.
or selling?
Yes.
Sorry, wrong word. Yeah.
Right. The bonds will be sold on, let me get my date, the end of April. I don't remember the specific date that we have scheduled off the top of my head. But we go through a process. These will be sold on the open market. And they're typically bought by either a brokerage firm or a bank, who then will resell them to anybody who wants to buy them. So we'll be closing on the deal, I believe, on May 8th, so that's when the money will come in to us.
And I understand this is a not to exceed amount?
Yes, sir.
Though is that the standard amount? I mean, it seems, do you anticipate a large jump from the 50?
No, I do not. I do
Okay.
not.
I mean-
I just am really, really nervous about going too low with this number, because that's the not to exceed number, and if our delinquencies are higher than that, I expect our delinquencies to be in the $15 million range.
Okay.
But I'm just really nervous about undercutting that, so this is the same number that I used last year.
Okay, I guess my question is just more about a concern, or, again, is there a huge, or if there were a significant increase in delinquencies related to softening of the economy or people getting overstretched or something like that, but it seems to be standard.
Well, and I don't, part of the problem is the timing of everything. We're in the process of settling with the local units on what the delinquent amounts are. So I can't tell you yet. We've only had a couple of units, smaller townships that have settled, turned over everything to us. So I don't have a good feel yet in terms of the actual delinquency amount. I've not seen anything so far. The indicators that I look at over year have not shown me anything that would show a dramatic increase, which is why I use the same number.
All right, thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion passes. As I open up miscellaneous, I just want to make a note that Commissioner Monica Sparks wanted it noted for the record that she is at a NACO conference, and that's why she is not here for this meeting. Is there anyone else with Commissioner Miscellaneous today? Okay, seeing none, we will adjourn. Our next meeting is Tuesday, March 19th at 8:30.
I am Kent County. I am Kent County.
I am Kent County.
We are 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 Kent County.
Bayard, Kent County. Ami, Kent County.
Somos, Kent County.
Mas Ira, Kent County.
We are Kent County. We are Kent County. We are Kent County. Oh yeah.